Hi everyone, my name is Wilfred, and as I said earlier in the previous post, I'll be your host in this show. It's Talk and Inspire, and today I'm so much privileged to be joined by one of the amazing person I've known. She is a mother, a loving one for that matter, and she is a health practitioner. She is an active advocate of human rights within the rural parts of Kilifi. And I'm sure not that Kilifi alone, but the entire country. So I've known her for some time, and this is an amazing lady. She is very inspirational to many women in the rural communities and also in the corporate world, business world, in whatever world you may mention. So today I'm so much privileged to have her on the show. We are going to share a lot. She has an amazing story, an amazing journey she has gone through, and I'm very sure that you're going to be inspired by her story because we all know that behind every glory there must be a story, and behind every pain, every gain, there is a pain. So she will inspire you today, and yeah, feel tagged in and feel joined in to the show. And without further ado now, I welcome Madam Selina. So welcome, Madam Selina. You look very amazing.
Thank you.
How is your day today?
My morning is okay. I'm fine. I'm energetic, and I thank God.
Wow, that's good. So we will be sharing much about your basic life experience, and I'm sure that many viewers have been waiting for this show and to welcome on board. Maybe before, I know I've already introduced your name. Sorry for that, but I'd like you to give you an opportunity to maybe tell us your name, maybe where you're born and raised, and maybe where you schooled before we can continue.
Okay, my name is Selina Oudia. My other name that is rarely used is Anyango. I was born in Sea County, Imbo. Those usual December holidays where mothers go for Christmas, and then my mother's labor started from home, and unfortunately I had to be born at home in the village. So I was raised in Kisumu. Actually, I've spent my entire youth life in Kisumu. I went to Aria Primary School, which is directly opposite United Mall, Kisumu. And after that, I went to Bishop Okoth Girls Mbaga. It is in Siaya. I did my Form 1 to Form 4. And after Form 4, I decided to, because of my love for cooking, I went to Savo Park Hotel Institute. And I also did a special course in Utalii College. So due to life experience, I decided to change my career from hospitality to social work to community work, and that's why I'm here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So you just talked about going through school, primary level, high school, and perhaps higher education levels. During this time you're going through education, who are your main pillars? Maybe were they your parents or people who are really like motivating you to go to school, providing everything for you? Were they your parents or maybe your neighbors?
Well, I lost my father at a very tender age. My father died in 1992, and I was barely a small child. And from then, my uncle picked up. He saw me through school. He's one of my major pillars I talk to every day. And my mother, yeah, my mother has been my pillar. So apart from my uncle, my mother, yeah.
Oh, wow. So, are they still of relevance today? Like, are they you've talked about your mother and your uncles. Are they still like of relevance to you today, or you still feel like there are other people who came on board to be like your mentors?
Yeah, my mother has always been my pillar. I think every day I think about my mother, because losing a father at a tender age, and she saw me through life up to now. Yeah, I think my mother is still a pillar to my life, but along the way, after now, I had issues with my social life, and my brother, my sister, and the husband now had to come in. So they have been my pillars. Apart from seeing me through college, seeing me through psychology, they offer their prayers, they pray for me every day. So I would say the people I work with in my life right now is my mother, my sister, and her husband, my elder sister, that is.
Wow. And maybe also your brothers. In a couple of posts you posted on your social media, you seem to have a very strong bond with your brothers, because you know, flaunt them on social media, praise them on social media. So is it that this bond began recently, or it grew up as you're growing? Yeah, talk to us a little bit about this.
East and West, home is always the best. So I do have a very strong bond with my brothers. I do have a strong bond with my sisters. But my family, where I come from, is a polygamous family. My dad himself had 4 wives, and his brothers have numerous wives. So I come from a family of so many people. Apart from my close siblings, we also relate so well with the siblings in the extended family, like my cousins and all. So in the post you saw, it was a get-together. We have 2 pillars in the family who are my uncles. They make sure every year we have an annual convention. And apart from that, me and my sisters, we have a bond that we have to talk, we have to meet, and we have to relate like every day. So when you saw the post about my sisters, we do fight, we do argue, but we are bonded by blood. So as much as we fight, as much as we do all of sorts of things, we are bonded by blood. And we have something, welfare sort of. So we have to talk each and every week, each and every month. So that keeps us at least stronger, because we find that we are all over the world. So some are outside Kenya, some are in different parts of Kenya, but we have to bond through that forum.
How difficult it gets, no matter how much we fight, we are forever friends bonded by blood. So it's very important, the aspect you talked about, you know, home being the best, your people being the best. Yeah, of course there are differences there. So it's always very good to really like sort out issues and remain, you know, bonded together. And I'm very quite sure that the good relationship you have has a positive impact maybe to your life, or even your children, or your career as well. So what would be your advice to the people? I know there are so many families today, they have like fallen apart, they are
Yeah.
not in agreements, like
Yeah.
siblings.
Yeah.
And we've seen even brothers killing each other, sisters envying each other's even progress and so on. So what would be your advice, being that you've seen the positive, you know, positive fruits from your good relationship with your brother?
Acknowledge the fact that there are things that are not worth being fighting for. Yeah? And love one another, embrace one another. You see, I know my brothers so well. There are some characters they can never change. So just embrace your brother. Recognize that there are facts that you cannot change. Love one another, and always preach peace. And most of it all, love.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now to our amazing viewers, we've learned something very important, that no matter how we fight, no matter the differences we have, we should always make sure that we solve our issues, especially as brothers and sisters, because her journey, I think, has not been from her own individual experience, but she has depended much on like the good relationship she has with her siblings. And when you look through her social media, you'll see them, you know, partying together, having these laughters together. So that means that they have bonded together, and there is always something positive from bonding together. So maybe you could be watching us, and you have differences with your brothers now or sisters. It calls upon you to go and, you know, sit down together, reconcile, because definitely there's nothing that is positive that is going to come about when you have differences, when you have issues, or when you are envying each other. So that was a good part of knowing her, getting to, you know her a little bit about her background. And as we are going for a very short break, and as we come back now, we are going to talk about her career journey. I know it's very inspirational. You're going to love it. She's going to tell us how she came to do what she's doing today. And just stay tuned in as we take this short commercial break. Thank you. So welcome back. So we want to go to a very sensitive area, and this is an area that is most inspirational to all of you, be it that you could be in marriage, maybe you're looking forward to joining corporate world, maybe career world. We are going to share with her so much details on how she has come to do what she is doing today. So welcome back. So welcome back.
Thank you.
You are a health practitioner, and you seem to really be very active in matters related to gender-based violence.
Yeah.
And in some interview you shared some month ago about, though it was in the local language,
Yes.
Luo. So you shared a very painful story about, you termed it as intimate partner violence. And if I look at this, what you're doing today, fighting for the rights of women, gender-based violence, and if I relate to intimate partner violence, there is violence bit of it. So I know you shared this story in your local language, and maybe I'll also give you an opportunity to share with us, probably the viewers who didn't get to know, to see or understand that, share with us a bit about this story, because I know it is the origin of what you are doing today.
Thank you so much. I work in a health facility, and the job I do, according to my job description, is totally different with whatever I do in the facility. So I offer psychological support to so many clients that come into the facility. There are those that have persistent headaches, and through the lab investigations, you find that there are no diseases. So in gender-based violence, we have something called, there are routine inquiries, we have clinical inquiries. So what the clinicians do when they find such a case, like the pressure is high all the time, persistent headaches, so they send the clients for psychosocial support, that's counseling. And there are also issues of gender-based violence. So what I can say is this: whatever I do in the facility is purely based on my life experience, and anything to do with gender-based violence gives my body goosebumps. So I always have that urge to support, to give psychosocial support, to find solution, to make sure anyone going through violence gets justice. So during the Mental Health Awareness Month last year, I had an interview about my mental health, and you find that intimate partner violence is what has affected my life so much. And it is a long story, but I shared it on TV. Yeah, it was in native language, but I'll just give a summary of whatever happened. Yeah. So I'm a survivor and I'm a champion of gender-based violence and intimate partner violence per se. And that led to the death of my daughter. Yeah, so I was in a toxic marriage, a marriage that was very violent and it had drug and substance abuse. And when I gave birth, my child passed through many challenges. So in the day my daughter died, I had fought with my ex-husband then. So he's someone who will just wake up and say, Celine, enda kwenyu. In English, go home, go to your mother. And he was someone who was a womanizer. He was someone who was very violent per se. So as a woman and as a mother, I wanted the best. I wanted the best for a family, and I also wanted the best for the marriage. So I stayed in that marriage for 3 years with being beaten. By that time, I was working in a bank, and I was at the reception in a bank. So the manager could see me and just tell me, Celine, go back home. So on that particular day, we had a fight. I think this child passed on. She was born in May and she passed on in October. So I think the fights were too much. I don't know. The fights were too much that the child maybe could not bear. So she passed on through pneumonia, but I felt like I could do more as a mother. But that's what my life experience is about, and that one has always drove me to work so hard so that I assist the women going through whatever I went through, and also children. So my major aim is to end violence, and especially in children and women. Yeah.
It's very unfortunate and so sorry for losing your child in what was not supposed to, what was not your expectation actually. I know it's very painful to actually go through such, relationship where you're giving your best, but the other person is not seeing. And I know there could be so many people today facing such challenges, and some even have started were cancelled and they were advised to walk out of the toxic marriage. There's so many toxic marriages existing today, and so many women carry those burdens of being wherever they got married or whatever relationship they are in, because they feel like when we walk out, what will the other people say? What will my friends say? What will my religious leaders say? My women group members say? So you walking through these and under those pressures, you managed to walk out alive. I know many people sometimes stay in such toxic marriage or relationship, and then they end up dying, or they end up being killed. So you walked out successfully, and it's very good or inspiring because of the fact that you decided to do something that will help other women maybe who are going through the same. So maybe some of our viewers could be going through such challenges. They don't know how to start. They don't know where to go, whom to talk to, because they don't trust anybody. During this time you're passing through these challenges, what drove you, what made you to successfully walk out of it to start building up again?
It is never easy, and it took me more than 3 years to get support. You see, there are some issues that are very personal to share, and getting someone to share with could be a challenge. Like in my story, I remember you could talk to someone and someone would not answer you, and you talk to another, and you, in a matter of time, you'll find that the story has been shared. So some of these issues that women go through are very sensitive and intimate to share. But in my case, I managed to get a therapist. And I'll go back to my sister and the husband. My sister was able to identify the fact that I had a problem. And in mild depression or anxiety or what I can call stress, you can just know by how someone behaves. If I'm someone who likes partying and all of a sudden I stop partying, you will just know. And if I'm someone who he was brought up in a religious family and all of a sudden I start drinking, if you're someone who is very close, you'll know that there's a problem. So in my case, my sister came up, stood up, paid for me a psychology course, and I went to college. So from that class is where I found a psychologist, and I was able to share my story, and that's where the therapy started, and that's where I found support.
Wow, amazing. And shout out to your sister who helped you go through this one. I know it's very, very painful, and it takes people a lot of time to really heal from this, situation. And I think your sister played a very important role in, like, your healing process. Maybe perhaps, where is your mother at this time? Was she being involved, or she let your sister handle this?
Yeah, I did not involve anyone in all this. I went through this alone. And like I said before, my sister only saw the change in me and identified the fact that I had a problem. So when I opened up to her, she was not able to help per se, but she connected me to a psychology school where I went and found help. So there are so many things that I could not share with my mother. A mother will always remain a mother. And some of these things were bedroom issues, intimate issues, violence issues that could stress my mother. My mother is someone who also lost her job by then. She was retrenched by then. So I couldn't share the story to my mother. I couldn't even share the story to my brothers to come to my rescue. Looking at the people my age, looking at my friends, looking at how the people I relate to had successful marriages, I decided to persevere in the marriage and not share to anyone.
Well, thank you very much. And as I said earlier, your sister, uh, uh, I know you will send her greetings at the end of this show, and she really did an amazing work. To date, you seem to really mentor so many women, so many girls. I've had testimonies of people who have gone through your hands and got the assistance they needed. Um, you are really doing a very impactful work, especially to the women, and perhaps the Ganze community really appreciates your support. And I know I've been to that facility several times, and I've had stories of how you've gone even overboard, how you work uh, tirelessly to make sure that the genders of women and men are known, because most of the women do not know their rights. So this particular step you've taken and the efforts you're putting on, do you think that you're headed to the right direction? Because I know there are so many women who are dying in their private zones. They don't know, like for you, you are introduced to, somebody who took you through like social support. But there are women who are dying privately. Some are very stressed, depressed. They don't know where to go, how to start. like who to approach, who they can trust. So maybe you could tell us a little bit of where, or an advice to the viewers, where they can go and seek support whenever they face issues, and perhaps some of them could not be knowing maybe their rights. So if in a bit, could you maybe tell us briefly how, like, the rights of these women, especially when they are in the marriage, how would they term it as this situation as gender-based violence? Is it just like a common slap? Is it maybe, an abuse? Or how do we term this situation as gender-based violence, especially for the women, because we'll be talking about men in a short while?
Okay. Well, thank you so much for that. And I really appreciate my colleagues for recognizing my passion and appreciating what I do. I also appreciate the fact that my employer saw the passion in me, and I am the focal person of gender-based violence in Ganze Health Center. And what I can say, we have a referral pathway. You see, in the community, there are so many people dealing with issues, social issues, gender-based issues. And from that, I managed to form a committee in Ganze. So we have a Ganze working committee, and it is a community facility committee for gender-based violence. So my employer has tried to mentor healthcare workers. There are so many healthcare workers across the county, in Ganze sub-county, almost in all facilities that are gender-based violence focal people. And they are mentored to offer psychosocial support. So we have a referral pathway. We have the chief, we have the village elders, we have the community health workers, we have the children's officer. There's another CBO called Sauti ya Wanawake, and we have the policemen with us, we have the Ministry of Education, we have the village elders, we have the religious leaders, both Islamic and Christian. So these are issues that happen everywhere. That's why we brought everyone on board, so that we have that referral pathway. But what I can say, for anyone who passes through or goes through violence and doesn't know, we have, everyone has their rights. We have children's rights. We have, in the facility, we have patients' rights, and you also have your own rights. Everyone has their own rights. So in the facility or in the community, there's always those cases taken to the chiefs, and the chief will see this is a social issue that needs counseling, so they'll always refer. In the children's department and all, even the police refer clans to the facility. So I would urge everyone going through violence to refer the cases to the facility. And we also have so many forms of violence, like you might be going through financial, it is called economic violence, and you don't know. Like in Ganze sub-county, there was something that came that was called Give Direct, whereby a family is given, was it 100,000? 110,000, and you find that the man goes away with the money, or the woman who is married in the family takes the money and goes away with it. So he leaves the man or the women with some sort of depression or stress. So such cases are called economic violence. We have different forms of sexual violence. Apart from the normal defilements that we get, there are also women denying their men their conjugal rights. Yeah, so there are so many forms. Men forcing women for sex when they are not in the mood. Yeah, and we have domestic violence. We have child abuse. So there's so many forms of violence which we handle at the facility.
Okay. So there is much talked about concerning gender-based violence.
Yeah.
Most of the people know that gender-based violence is related to women. And I like the fact that you recognize that also men go through gender-based violence by stating in one of your quotes, some men are in toxic marriages because they thought long clothes, natural hair, not drinking alcohol, not talking much, and going to church and singing in a choir was the qualification of a good wife. Do you think that violated men suffer in silence?
Yeah, so many men go through violence silently because it is traditionally known that men were born strong. Men are always psychologically strong. And there's a say that say real men don't cry. In my field of work, I've met so many men going through physical violence in their families. So my advice to men, yeah, we get men, and it is true men go through violence, and it's not psychologically, but according to research, psychological violence in men is the most common. And the sexual, physical are on the lower side, but most men go through psychological or psychosocial violence. So it is true there are men that suffer in silence.
When we're talking about now the work, the nature of work you're doing, I know sometimes, like most of the time, you handle cases that are, traumatizing. You go through, like, you handle, solve issues that are not, appealing. Do you sometimes get affected with these cases, and sometimes do you just get somewhere, get a professional to help you also go through the psychosocial support, or you use the skills you have to handle your own psychological issues that you get from the work you do?
Well, my major work is, I'm in the HIV care and treatment field. And as you always know, getting HIV positive, being HIV positive is not an easy thing. And going through medication for the rest of your life is not an easy thing. These are people that you need to talk to them every day. You need to talk to them every day, giving them strength, giving them support. Apart from that, I also work with the diabetic. I work with the diabetics, with the high blood pressure patients. The pressures are always high, and these are people that always, they also have to go through medication for the rest of their lives, and these are very sensitive issues to deal with, and you find that most clients go through a lot, and it is not easy. But in counseling, we have something called empathy. Once you start sympathizing, you go out of context. Remember, this is someone that has come to you for support. So we have counseling skills that will help you give psychosocial support. We have the focusing skills, we have the empathy, we have all sorts of counseling skills. So as a counselor, as a professional counselor, we do work more with empathy. Yeah, you finish your work, you go home. No crying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing. When aside from that, most of the people today face the pressure of doing stuff to be liked and appreciated. We don't understand who we are, so we tend to do things that will make the world talk positive about our lives. And I like it the way you state that no matter how glamorous others look, maintain your infinity. This is what will set you apart from the crowd. If you compromise or copy, you will struggle to live a lie and achieve nothing satisfying. Wow, this is a very amazing tale and advice to people who love copying. What would you basically tell viewers who are struggling to, like, dress up and, behave in a way that will please the world?
Personally, like Selina, I have the money to drink every day, and I have the money to do makeup every day. But what about my bills? I have school fees to pay, I have my own bills, I have to pay for rent, I have to do everything. And this is something we see on social media. Most of the content creators and most of the how do we call them? celebrities. Most of them, you find that they live a very fake life. And it's not like I, as Selina, I'm also perfect. I'm a victim of this. You find that my friends are going for a vacation somewhere. I go for the vacation and I come back home to zero. And yet the bills are there waiting for us. So I would advocate for people to be real. Just be real and create your own heaven in your own space. Like in the village, most of the houses I see in Ganze, they are very small mud houses, and you see they have electricity there. Yeah. When you get in, you'll be shocked. Yeah, you'll find a well-organized house. It has a fridge. It has a you just make your heaven in your own space. Don't do what others do. Be real, because if you fake your life, you'll find you living debts. Yeah, and debts. Okay, getting back to where we were, we have so many cases of suicide due to debts. Debts has a lot of light pressures that you can never cope with, because any money you earn will go to debts. So me, I would advocate, just live your real life. Yeah.
Well, there is this amazing quote I spotted on your social media. You say, your duty is to have faith. God's duty is to make it happen. Two principles that make everything possible. Most of these people seem to really lose, focus and lose their waiting upon God. So how has been your spiritual journey? I know you've trusted God in so many things. He has done so much. How has it been, and what would you advise people who are going through hell and they have lost faith?
We all know God's answers. There are some answers that you'll have to wait. So in some things you might have an issue, you pray and God answers you. I might be going for a job interview, I kneel down and pray, and in less than a week, I've gotten the job. So I would just urge that God's time is the best, and patience. My spiritual journey, hey, this one I will not lie. My life and my everything has always depended on my mother, my sister, and the husband's prayers. What I do is always just have faith. I have an issue. You can have an issue that you don't even have the strength to kneel down and pray. But I always believe that in God, everything is possible. Kneel down, pray, have faith, leave the rest to God.
Do you think that you are living your life to the fullest now, or you still want to do more, maybe to perfect your future, perfect your life generally?
I have 2 shillings, and I would want, or I would wish to have 5 shillings in future. So every time I wake up, I have that urge to work hard, do more, push harder. Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing, amazing, amazing quote that you have to work, push and get more and more. Now, let's talk about parenting. You are such a loving mother to amazing kids, and we've seen in most of your posts, you really post them, celebrate them. How is parenting like for you, and considering that you are a working class woman, how do you balance like taking care of your kids and work?
I really appreciate the fact that you recognize that I'm a good mother. Most of the people and almost everyone close to me appreciate that I'm a good mother. And it's not like I have 2 children, but it is only that the 2 children are what the world knows. So I wouldn't wish to go back. Yeah, I wouldn't wish to go back. But I have 2 other children somewhere. Yeah, I have 2 other children somewhere. And the fact that I feel like I failed them as a mother gives me the courage to do best for the ones I have. It's not that they're not in my life, they are, but they're not with me. Yeah, so I always do the best for the two that I have. Um, every parent would wish to give their kids the best, and me that I'm in the social protection committee and I'm in the child protection, I know the children's rights, I know the child protection policy. I always try to give them the best, and the mother only gives the best to a disciplined child. Yeah, I'm a very strict academician and I'm a very strict parent. Yeah, so yeah, I do try my best as a mother to give my children the best education, the most social life, and everything they need so that they be better people in the future. I'm not doing this because of me. I am copying what my mother did. If my mother gave up when my father died, I couldn't be here. And she was doing this for me so that I do the best for my children. So I'm not doing this for my children, for them to be able to support me in future. I'm only giving them the best so that they get to give their children the best. Yeah, so I do try my best as a mother to give my children all the basic needs.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I know you've talked about your lowest moment. What has been your highest moment in life?
I have so many. I've experienced so many high moments in my life. But I will highlight only one. And this happened sometimes last year. I think it was around September, where my employer gave me a platform to showcase what I do. And I was really happy that someone somewhere appreciates what I do in the facility. So when I was able to write my best practice and I was able to, it was accepted and I was able to go and showcase what I do, I was very happy. And that was the highest moment in my life. And just last week, hey, I got a surprise. I have never, ever in my life been appreciated the way I was in my 2024 birthday.
Wow.
You know yourselves, those who took part, I appreciate you and I love you so much. You made my day. I was down. I was very down. And that day, I was the happiest woman in my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. So as we wind up, maybe your last comment to our viewers.
To the viewers, it is always good to talk. It is okay not to be okay. And we can always offer psychosocial support. For being a healthcare worker, your life and your health is something that is of importance to us. And if you're going through any form of violence, kindly see a therapist. If you're not able to share your story, we have the hotlines and they are free hotline numbers 1190 and 1195. You can just call 1195 is the GBV and 1190 is one-to-one, where you can just text, say your issue and you'll be sorted. Above all, I love you so much and thank you for having me.
So thank you very much to our viewers. It has been an amazing show. I know you have learned a lot. You have been inspired. And one thing that I've is a takeaway for me is trusting in God, understanding myself, and going for what I'm meant to go for. So thank you very much for tuning in to this show. And I'm also sending out my shout outs to my parents, Francisco, my mother in Kakamega, and all the people in Ganze, Aloste Academy Fraternity, my friends, Pefa Church. Receive much greetings. And my last urge is that you tag, like, and share this broadcast. And I will be bringing more people on board with different fields of career, and I know from this you will get inspired. So stay tuned until we meet next time. Bye bye for now.